here. And so for those rosters here, we've got Nerf, Says, Tempt, Segenex, and Verch on Revenge. And on UX, oh, you got it.
I believe it's Kez, just as a thing
Kez,
for
my
us to get
bad.
it right.
Not
Yeah.
Says.
Yeah.
You're right. That
It's
sounds
weird.
better.
Soft C is like what you'd expect, but apparently it's Kez. He let us know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, that's good.
And
On
then
yeah.
you take
Oh,
it.
good coordination so far. Yeah, on UX, we've got Rabinshu, Christ, Lucania, One Tep, Heck, and Pangoro. So
yeah. So
the only name out of these two teams I personally recognize is Segenex, just because I used to keep up with the Benelux League a little bit. But yeah, we've got Clubhouse and Border on the cards today. Consulate auto banned, and for Revenge they banned out Cafe Villa, and UX banned out Coast and Theme Park. So pretty common set of maps coming up first here.
Yeah, they did have Consulate as another option as well, those in that final trio of maps, but opting to go for Clubhouse and Border. So we're going to see our second Clubhouse game in a row, and it's going to start with a couple of attack bans as per usual. Maverick going to be off the board, as well as Hibana. So 2 hard breach bans, as well as a Kaid ban now. So this is a very interesting ban phase already. It's going to play out much more much differently to how we usually see Clubhouse, I think.
Yeah. So, like you said, a couple of pretty customary normal bans. It's interesting that there was a mirror ban here by UX instead of dropping the Echo. The defensive bans have seen a bit more flexibility, and all things considered, too, the Kaid going down is equally interesting because there's Thatcher still up because Hibana was banned instead of Thatcher, as now Tempt is going to switch off onto the sledge. It seems like they know something's up at least. And yeah, it's there's a couple interesting things that the Kaid got banned, so they just outright don't want to waste Thatcher utility on extra walls. But the Mira also being banned leaves up Echo. So Mira isn't, massively in favor of isn't massively strong on this map on Clubhouse, but I mean Echo's pretty strong anywhere, really. So it's interesting that he's still left up.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting set of bans. I think Hibana and the Maverick both going out means obviously we're going to see a whole heap of Thermite being brought. And it is interesting that the Thatcher doesn't get brought despite being available. Obviously, seeing that that castle and deciding that the sledge is pretty important for the attack. We have the Goyo as well as the Momai and the Jaeger being brought, and the castle, all very utility soak based operators. You want to be laying that utility down, presenting any kind of very quick pushes, offering layers to your defense basically. If you're at all familiar with Siege in recent months, then this will be completely familiar to you, and yeah, absolutely expected. We're seeing a active bandit trick attempted here by Rabinshu. He's got some assistance from Chris, who's actually throwing out these frisbees to try and deny some of the stuns coming through the drone hole. Now that's a little bit smarter than perhaps pre-placing your ADSs. So a nice little development of that strategy there. The frag is going to be rolled under the drone hole as well now, but it is caught by the magnet and dealt with appropriately. A second magnet will come out, and again it will catch the next frag grenade. And this is lovely. We're getting to watch it all of this bird's eye view. Rabinshu now should be well protected to go for the thermite, for the bandit trick, but he doesn't place it on the right side and has to back away as the jacuzzi wall gets open.
I think it's pretty funny that we saw, especially with that first nade, it slowly roll under the drone hole and then just get zipped on up by that Wamai disc. So always fun to actually get to catch that on camera there. As now there's been 2 minutes of pressure onto this jacuzzi wall, and the two players in cash room here, One Tap and Pangoro, have just been able to freely hold out in cash room, just no contention. So Tempt has just been set on duty to watch those walls there, or watch those windows, and not really do anything. Nerf is going to get the first frag there, even though he took a TCSG slug to the chest for his troubles. Kanye does go down for the opener, as now Revenge is starting to get their push in. The Capital is going to actually catch a second one there. Pangora rotating around. That's the castle, as now Kez confirms onto Rabinshu, and this round is looking so in favor of Revenge. Another one almost flawless, shooting at ankles is the Lamai, not able to pick up one. Yes, he does. Chris able to pick up onto Kez, and he's hiding behind his castle wall and the gym equipment, but he's just being pushed from all angles. Able to take out the Buck at least, but all but a flawless round when it came down to it. A couple impactless frags from the Wamai finish it out. And a very strong first round on Gym Bedroom for Revenge. GG here.
Yeah, that was a very solid one for Revenge, and pretty promising for them as well, since we don't see Jim as the first picked site very often. It's usually one of either Cash or Church, and now they're going to have given themselves a bit more maneuverability. It is always a little bit of a gamble, though, because you do have the potential to return to sites, and then when you get to that fourth round, it gets very important which sites you have chosen, because of course you can't go back to sites that you've successfully defended for a couple of rounds. So it's always a gamble in the long run, even if you do win that first round. But playing off so far, so they pick up the first point of the match, and we've got now a Cash defense going to be coming out from US Gaming.
Yeah, so back to pretty much normalcy. They tried to switch it up and try and get an easy round off the board, hopefully. I would have to assume with that Gym Bedroom defense, just try and throw off Revenge there, but they were not. They were just not at all messed up by it. And it's, again, interesting that we're going to see no Thatcher, even though the operator is up, which you basically never see. So it's pretty interesting that they're not even opting for it, and that Rabinshu is even opting for this bandit trick. Obviously, I personally, in this situation, I'd prefer just setting up double bandits here on that wall and throwing down Rabinshu downstairs alongside Pangoro here on the Valkyrie to try and contest any attempt by Kez or the nade ops from Tempt and Virch to try and just nade or impact out those wires. And actually, we might be seeing a very early peek here by One Tap. He's going to open up the wall, but Tempt definitely hears it. And they're going to come to contention first, and it's Tempt to win it out. Or Tempt, not Tempt. Tempt to win it out there. Onto the Jaeger.
Finds the second one as well onto Pangoro, and that's the Valkyrie who was laying down in the lounge, or the bottom of the stairs rather, caught out with that long angle from the sledge. So he's getting kills on exact opposite sides of the map within about 20 seconds of each other. And now Rabinshu, distracted from that wall by the window players, means that he can't bandit trick the wall, and we've got a pinch on all sides here now, going to be crashing down on UX Gaming, as they've got to hold out with 1:30 left. Crucially though, Chris still holding firm in garage, and the door hasn't even been opened, so he doesn't actually need to worry about that angle, which is quite a big thing for him. That could be that could not be the case for a little bit longer though, as Nerf opening up that door now. Chris having to back up into the catwalk. The Capitao as well, making his way through the ban phase instead of, say, the Thatcher or apologies, instead of the Hibana. means that this garage hold is certainly a lot harder to pull off. But the peak from the Wamai almost finding Nerf there. Again, put down onto minimal HP, but it's Kez finding that kill from the breach, I believe. Long angle across the top of Catwalk. Left with no ground to hold, really, as both those firebolts completely clear out that angle. Temp's going to be finding a triple on the round now as Robinshu goes down, and now it's all up to the smoke. With 36 seconds left, he can smoke off the site, and it's definitely possible, but in a 1 versus 5, it's going to be very tough. Sejunex does get the defuse down in the breach instead, and that catches Lucania out. He does find the head of Pez, but this is all but over for UX Gaming at the moment, as he finds himself in a 1 versus 4 post-plant situation that the Owls have now taken up distant angles, and he's just waiting for the aggression here from Revenge, but they're not going to give it to him. They're just waiting, playing very patiently, as you would expect. Revenge holding out firm. Lucania gets close to the diffuser here, but Virch coming with the peek from the window, away position, eventually finds Lucania, and that's a pretty solid round yet again. But this time, Revenge winning on cash instead.
Yeah, there's just no way around it. This is now 2 rounds in a row that it's come down to a 1v5 at the end. Any kills that came out of it are just impactless in the time of it. And like going off the Capital point that you made, I think a lot of more teams are now more comfortable letting Capital out now that Wamai is able to be played. The biggest problem point usually was either burning out the rafters or burning out the bandit trick player, and usually you'd see that in combination with the Hibana getting that corner wall opened up, or the corner of the garage wall opened up, so that you can get an angle onto the window. And as a contest to that, you would see those Wamai discs thrown under the window, and it kind of just sucks them up right where he is, and keep the bandit safe, and then he can also hide them up around the garage wherever he wants. There's a lot of angles up in there to hide those discs and eat up the fire bolts when they need them. So it's definitely interesting that I would have to say Clubhouse is one of Capital's better maps for sure. And it is still interesting that he's left up even with this this contested pick, or this operator counter still up. So we'll have to see. I want to see how UX holds this defense this time around, because it's definitely looking really rough so far. I mean, I already said it. They just went to 2 nearly flawless rounds, and they are just getting handled so far on this defense by Revenge, who just seem all over them and like they know where UX is going 1 step ahead.
Yeah, they really are at the moment. It's tough to call at this stage, but so far we've seen pretty much dominance from Revenge, as you mentioned. Someone just pointed out in chat as well, we've played Clubhouse in every single matchup so far. In every best of 2, Clubhouse has been chosen. So, you've completed the cycle. Well done, Revenge and UX, for putting this through in first phase. Looks like another successful breach here. Robinshu again sticking the wrong side of the wall. And interestingly enough, he wasn't being punished from beneath, despite that floor being opened up. But it was enough to at least force him to gamble on one side instead of the other. And when that balcony wall was opened up within a minute of the round starting, that's pretty good for the attackers.
Yeah, so pretty good going there. That's why you don't really see as much bandit tricking going on lately. Usually the Kaid allows a lot more, but no more charging Wamai discs. Kez able to pick up 2 here onto Robinshu and Christ as he's lighting it back up. So
this is looking even worse than last round. That was already out of control. And
it's so much faster, yeah.
Yeah, Pangoro has the C4 from beneath to try and influence this, and in fact, it looks like he's going fairly uncontested. He does peek out from garage and gets 1. That's Temp going down, and your sledge and those frags gone, but still possible for the attack to pretty much sweep through this. You've got the smoke left, which is great. It's playing very close on this breach, and now again a long angle there from I believe Pangoro. was it one-step peck? Not quite sure. Either way, the Capital gets down. Looks like he's going to be res. Pangoro going to be pushing back up, and he immediately gets swept back down by Nerf. Kez picking up another as Lucania claims Sejinex with a smoke canister, but it's all up to one-step peck. One of the newer members on this roster in a 1 versus 3. He's going to be in contention with Kez holding that angle as Virtue gets the diffuser down. And now, again, a tough 1vx for Revenge, for UX Gaming rather, in the post plant. Looks like slightly more aggressive hold here from Revenge, so it might not be expected. But one step Peck just sort of dancing around this site, trying to find a pick somewhere. Kex holding it very passively. Eventually he exposed himself, and that's Kex finally claiming the life of the Jaeger. And Revenge GG putting up yet another very dominant round on Clubhouse.
Yeah, it is looking dire so far for UX. Obviously, as of late, CC and Cash has seen a little bit more. It swung a little bit more in favor of the attacks, but it's not wildly so that, these attacks should be as one-sided as they are. It just ends up happening that a lot of the rounds end up that way. I don't know the stat lines for like operators left alive or anything, or like 1vx clutches or whatever, but still that site is not normally that one-sided. So if Revenge is just rolling over UX so far these first 3 rounds, only letting up 5 kills here, it's not looking so good. So,
and here's the problem, right? They've just attempted Jim and Cash. Jim once, Cash twice. Now they're going down to Church, and if they win this, let's say that their Church defense is great. Let's say that they pull this one out and they get 3-1 on the board instead. They can't go back here. They've got to go back up to Jim and Cash for their last 2 defense rounds, and those have been dire. So at the moment, UX are staring down the barrel of potentially a 5-1 split. They've already condemned themselves to it. At least that might be what they're thinking, if they're being a bit pessimistic like I am about it, and that can get to you. So they've got to maybe go up there with a completely fresh strategy, perhaps, when it does come to a Jim or Cash hold again. If it does come to a Jim or Cash hold again. And yeah, just try something different, because clearly their set strategy is completely being walked over by Revenge. It did seem as though they weren't really taking that many gunfights. They were kind of passively falling back gradually and letting the utility kind of do the stalling for them, but not actually going for the kills. So a little bit more, perhaps even some informed aggression, maybe even some unbridled aggression from UX Gaming on these defenses could do them some favors.
Yeah, so very quickly, Revenge is going to start to take control here of this middle floor without very much roam game upstairs. This is usually how the defenses go, but that's not really how they go sometimes. Virch another opening pick onto Pangoro. At least his utility is down, but that's a great gun off the board here, and one of your 2 ACOGs on the defense on that Goyo going down. And
that was a great
now
shoot as well. Sorry to cut you off. That was
oh yeah, was it from all the way
yeah.
upstairs?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He had the angle from office through kitchen and found the Goyo, so that's pretty big.
Yeah, that is
yeah.
crazy. So we're going to see some more pressure coming down as Revenge is just rolling through the rest of this attack, setting off. Oh, that's a normal shield, not a Goyo shield. So a couple wayward C4s are going off now. Actually, the only one left up was Christ, so that goes off, and there's still so much utility on this attacking side. There's all the Capital bolts, there's 3 frag grenades, an impact grenade from Zofia, both, I think one of Sejinex's exodermators as well, as I blanked on that for a second. But it's Rabinshu to pick up Nerf at least, so no Capital bolts here, as they are now down, and the full push through dirt from Sejinex and Temp is coming out. The shotgun does not win out against Temp, as Lucania does go down in the 3-on-3 here, as Rabinshu has to heal himself back up to full after another engagement. He's going to take some shots, or some fire damage, but he's through the dust. He actually can't see the attacker's pushing in, but that's 3 for him as Chris confirms another, and here comes just Sejanex all alone against 3 in a 1 versus 3 now. 10 seconds to go. He shot from behind. Rubinshu for 4. As, well, like you said, maybe they do have a great basement defense. But now you have to go back to either Church or Cash, or Jim or Cash, rather. And that is not looking so hot.
Yeah, that's not promising, but at least they have that first round win under their belts now. That was mostly off the back of some impressive gunplay, basically, from Revinshu, holding that position despite the flame coming his way. And really, I think Revenge kind of neglected to clear out enough of the site to get that push going. They had, I don't believe they had the kitchen hatch open for that. They had the push in um, mostly from dirt and a bit of support down main, but ultimately the vertical angles that you can use from kitchen and even from office that we saw the Bart getting, they can only do so much to help you secure that side of the site, because really, if you're getting into armory, you either need to be getting in and immediately moving down into the kind of deeper like pulse spot area to go for your plant, or you need to be dropping in through kitchen hatch basically into that area, because those crates, if you haven't cleared out defenders from blue, if you haven't cleared out defenders from that crate side of armory, they can really actually be quite beneficial to the defenders with that like sort of head level cover that the Doc's going to benefit from quite a lot. And he sort of just juicing himself up fight after fight there, and it was pretty impressive stuff from it was at Rubinshu. So
Yep.
yeah, a good round for them. But yes, back up in gym now, and we do see pretty much the same lineup here from UX Gaming. Hopefully they do manage to pull off the bandit trick at least once in this match, because that's clearly a big important part of their holds, and so far it hasn't been working. But I'd say the gym bandit trick is probably an easy one, if anything, to because you've got fewer cross angles to worry about. Only really a gym push from a Zofia can help deal with the bandit on this side of the wall. But there we have the frags being thrown in and catching the deployable shield, but still the utility in the hand of the bandit, so it's possible that he will manage to protect it. And Zofia still hasn't gotten over to Jim's side to open up this castle barricade, so he's still in a good spot.
I don't think they realized or heard that first Wamai disc took down the shield because of the explosion radius. So Sophia's gonna waste an explosive charge in there that could have been used to take down one of Pangora's castles there, blocking the bandit. And I think that allows Rubinshi to freely bandit trick this wherever he wants. He's gonna get his second charge down, but he's going to get stunned off it twice, and he's not free to trick it anymore. And now his fallback is going to be contested by Kez, who confirms another one here onto Rubinshu, able to get his second opening frag of the round, as now Nerf as well chimes in with one onto one tap. The Jaeger goes down, a great rifle, but no utility at least left up. Chris holds firm in that bathroom area, trying to rotate around and out to safety, but he's not going to find that safety. Lucania at least refrags him onto Nerf, who picked up, I think, his second of the round. But still now 4-on-2, and the site is firmly in control of Revenge. So it's just looking dire again.
Birch finding another one as well onto Lucania. Now it's Pangoro in a 1 versus 4. And the diffuser does look like it's going to be attempted here. Doesn't get stuck, but doesn't matter, as the hold from Virch with his second on the round. Just dropping into office. There's another good day at work for him. And again, Revenge just making it look easy on that top floor.
Yeah, it just looks so simple. And
the strange thing about that one, right? The strange thing about that one was that they actually had the they were losing that utility battle, like solidly. They did not deserve to get that jacuzzi wall open.
Exactly.
And yet it happened. Rubinshu just guessed wrong yet again, really, on the bandit, and it ended up costing that breach. And then as soon as that was open, they actually had the quite a good flank hold position from Nerf repelling on the main stairs window, and Virch cleaning up the rest from the hatch as well. It was just unfortunate, really, because it did look like UX actually had managed to sort of give themselves a bit of a fighting chance in that round with the well, through Revenge's negligence, really, if anything, the inability to clear those bandit charges effectively. But it was just dealt with, and then eventually UX fell apart. So they're going to be looking to get at least one more round here on the defense, as they're pretty much forced onto cash. They don't want to be heading back to gym anytime soon by the looks of things. Although, to be honest, their gym defenses looked more resolute than the cash ones, so that might be a bit of a poor choice in my opinion, but we'll see how they fare here, and if it's not quite as one-sided a cash defense as we saw before.
Yeah, I think the only thing that changed up their last CC defense that made it look slightly better was Pangoro being very aggressive downstairs, but that should get very quickly caught out if it happens again. He's instead opted to head over to Jim now to play aggressive over there and try and look for a run out, but his cam is lost, and now Birch is eyeballing his area so patiently, trying to see if he can spot the Valkyrie, who's waiting. Ooh, bullet just whizzed past his head as they seem to know that Pangoro must be waiting over somewhere with that cam that he had set up to try and look for a run out. But they're going to abandon it for now, and there it is. Zofia Trick down below, able to take down Rubinshu. Not confirm him just yet, but there's no possible way. As I say that, I was going to say there's no possible way he gets out of this, but he just might. However, it's Sejanex to get his first frag of the game, put himself on the board, and again, no more My Discs charging up the rest of this round.
Look at that trail of blood. Rubinshu actually just... that's incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a more lost cause won. But Virch is going to take up some damage here. They've already managed to clear Chris from Catwalk, so this is a pretty strong hold that the attackers now have over that server site. And all the defenders having backed into Cash itself. We've still got Pandoro playing downstairs, waiting for his opportunity to strike, and he does have that C4 in hand, but Temp just on his drone, expecting this flank hit from the Valkyrie. He's very close to the wall now. Virch finding a frag, but the wall opened up, but Pangoro should be quicker to react, and he does. Said finding one to heck, though. Now it's 2 versus 4 in a post plant. Or not post plant, sorry, as Pangoro denies it. Pangoro with a big triple kill there. Headshot onto Nerf, but he's finally shut down by Virch, and now it's fallen up to Lucania in a 1 versus 2. He has no more smoke canisters in hand, but he does find the head of Kez, and now it looks like he might be able to rescue this defensive round for UX Gaming, as Virch is sitting with the Fuser in hand behind the server stack. Only take shots wildly, does light up Lucania there as a stray peek, but Virch is worse for wear, and the shotgun bullets rain in. Lucania going for that wide swing and clutching it in a 2 versus 4. Big play there from Lucania and from the Valkyrie. That was just such a good round for the defense. How did they clutch that one out?
Yeah, that was a massive clutch up there to save what should have been Revenge's 5th round. It was UX able to save it from the jaws of defeat here. As now down to Church Arsenal we go as the first site here for Revenge. Pretty common to see CC and Church swapped off one for another, as we usually do see lately, like I said, since CC is swinging more towards the attack, we do see more Church Arsenal get taken first, especially with the prevalence of that big new roam strat that SSG has made popular over in North America Pro League. And thankfully, we won't be seeing that yet, at least from Revenge. I'm not really a fan of watching other teams perform it because usually it's really rough going unless you can outgun your opponents. A lot of teams haven't thoroughly practiced the retake part of that, and if their downstairs players get taken out early on, then they kind of just get rolled over, and it makes for a very fast round. And then usually we end up doubling back to this type of defense, this bunker defense, anyway. So it's like,
Yeah.
why not just go to that one first if you're more comfortable on it? But I get trying out new strats. So
Yeah, we saw that basically be Timber's downfall in the last match on Club an hour or so ago, and it was pretty much just, yeah, that strat was completely circumvented by just pushing in through blue very aggressively, taking the site and getting the plant down. But we're not seeing that from Revenge. They're going to be sticking to the more traditional kind of turtle strat on the bottom floor. Interestingly, we do see the Monty being brought out by One Tep Heck, and that might have been in anticipation of a Cash or Jim hold because he's not as useful on a on a basement attack as he would be elsewhere. Uh, Obviously, still potentially a way of bypassing certain operators, but we don't see any of those particularly here. In fact, the Goyo shields are going to be much more of a problem for him than, for instance, some call Monty a bit of a counter to Mozzie, for instance, because you can just face drone with it. But
yeah,
and that's not being brought here at all. So we've got still a minute and a half remaining. Sounds like Moto Hatch is just being opened there by Rabinchu. That's one of the exothermic charges used, and so we'll have to decide whether that church wall is worth opening or whether they're going to be going for that kitchen hatch because oddly, no, of course, we don't have the Hibana and the Maverick in play, so only two breaches available for the attack to hard.
yeah. The single hard breach on Clubhouse definitely makes things very rough, as you have to prioritize what you want: hatches or the church wall, usually, or even dirt as well. So it's pretty rough going, and makes for these church attacks pretty slow. We're gonna see, though, getting in here is UX, but it's Christ to find 1 and 2 actually onto Nerf and Verch here. Montaigne does go down, at least Kez on the Maestro, but the Impress has started up. Kangoro and Temp trade out 1 for 1 as the Maestro goes down, and Lucania cleans up Sejanex in a very, very fast round when it came to it. But at least UX is able to put a third round on the board.
Yeah, that was an explosive end to that round, really, wasn't it? We had so little action for the first minute or so, and then it all came to a head. That's what you expect with these turtle defenses on the bottom floor. It does surprise me that we didn't see an early defense on the basement from from UX. I apologize, from UX earlier on because, like we mentioned in that round, the double hard breach ban makes it so much easier to hold down there, and it might be part of the reason that we haven't seen a successful attacking round there until just then. So, UX Gaming, they were the ones to ban out the Maverick first, and then Revenge responded with the Hibana ban. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they were kind of caught off guard by the fact that a basement defense would perhaps be a better option in a lot of cases. But, yeah, it looks like Revenge are going to be adapting to that now. And as they went to church first, I consider it unfortunate that they didn't hold that, really. They had those angles held down pretty well, but in the end it came down to a few rapid gunfights that went the way of UX. So we'll be able to see if they can replicate that across the rounds. They do seem a lot more comfortable on the attack. Might be part of the reason they're bringing that Monty, so that they can enable slightly more aggressive gunplay from the rest of their roster.
Yeah, so the Montaigne, like you said, does help. Not just with Mozzie Pest, even. It just helps push through a lot of defenses. And with no traps being employed here by Revenge, you can kind of just, in theory, walk him up a lot of areas and help deny a lot of defenses. The Maestro is caught out here on camera, but he's going to get the first kill. That's Kez taking down one Tep on the Montaigne. So before he can even deploy that extended shield, you can really have a nerf up here, I think, in the rafters, holding firmly without very much fear. So, yeah, fear of being pushed out, actually. So that's really nice shot there by Kez as the downstairs players are going to start to contest Tempt here. Or Tempt, gosh, I keep calling him Tempt. The wall does get opened up at least, though, and with a minute and a half just over on the timer still, this is really good going for UX here to get their push started.
Yeah, that was some effective use of that utility from Christ on the Zofia to get that open. Those stuns and impacts, definitely the reason that that wall was successfully breached. But Nerf going to find the head of Chris just as I say that, and now he's going to be cleared out. Very effective set of flame bolts there, and Virtue going to confirm that. Now it's all down to Rabinshu. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I got completely confused. Nerf is still down as we get a double kill from the defenders. So now it's Rabinshu in a 1 versus 5, and he's got Diffuser in hand, but very little hope of getting anything out of this round now. And he's going to be trying to fish for kills here, expecting the aggression out onto the balcony, but no one's going to deliver that from Revenge.
Yeah, so looking ahead to that next round really quickly, you're probably
It
going to
looks like
see.
that's exactly what he's doing. He's just
Yeah,
hiding. Yeah,
I think
this is a
the
timeout.
unofficial timeout
Yeah.
that, unlike Counter Strike and other games, we don't have that ability. So usually in these one-sided rounds, an operator or a player rather will just kind of sit somewhere safe, usually on a roof, prone, or just away in a spawn point or something, so that they can't die. Not really try and contest the round anymore. Try and give your team just a bit of time to talk things out, cool your heads, look ahead for this next round. So we're probably going to see maybe it's possible we do see a gym bedroom defense, or even back to a church arsenal, which wouldn't be surprising here from Revenge, as they'll probably look to play a bit safer on that site, as they essentially just picked up a flawless round, all things considered. And wow, Kez is up to 12 and 5 so far. Pretty good showing from him. Yeah,
Yeah,
back down to Church Arsenal.
he's been performing quite well, definitely, so far. UX sticking with that Monty. It probably fell apart for them mentally after losing him early on to the Maestro. Very unusual and quite fortunate for Kez, I suppose, to be in that position at the right moment. But really, Monty just being a little bit complacent because he exposed his side to an angle that you wouldn't expect to be held by the Maestro, but there's an even sort of tighter angle that you can hold from lounge or from the little exit way from garage into lounge, and he would have been exposed to that as well. So I can only assume that the Monty was basically facing the stairs as he came up as he came in the room, which is definitely not the play. And that's what allowed Maestro to actually find that kill. So I think we could see a completely different type of attack here should the Monty survive past the first minute or so, and UX are going to be hoping to leverage that and actually put together a few rounds. They still have a potential win within their grasp, but they are going to have to string 4 rounds together without reply.
Yeah, looking at least for 3 here. And you know that Revenge has a really solid CC defense. Even if they lose that main wall early on, ooh, that could be pretty rough going here for Revenge, as they actually weren't able to get one of these hatches reinforced. So that's pretty good here for UX, actually. As now Rubinshu can open up the kitchen hatch, they can send Pangoro to get that Moto hatch there. And the Rubinshu can hold an exothermic charge as well for either dirt or church. So that's pretty bad, honestly. That is really bad actually for
Yeah.
Revenge, is it doesn't force UX into using their exothermic charges more wisely. So
Yeah,
either
moto
yeah,
hatch is almost always a guaranteed breach, no matter what kind of push you're going for. Unless you're focusing solely on, say, a dirt push and a kitchen drop, then that's always going to be your primary hatch, and it does force that exothermic charge. Especially with two hard breach bands, you've got to be taking that as an opportunity missed. But Nerf going to be finding Pangoro, and that's a sledge gone. So that self-destruction definitely hampered for the attack now. And once again, UX are a man down with still about a minute and a half to go. And they need to find some picks here. Looks like the beachhead is going to be blue for them as this Capital Bolt has forced the Jaeger to actually move forward somewhat towards Oil Pit. We see still plenty of utility in the hands of the attackers. They've only really spent the one impact grenade on Zofia. So lots to work with in this upcoming push, but it's going to be a question of where it comes from. Looks like Lucania is going to be backing away and actually going for an oil pit drop instead with Chris. Maybe it's a pinch now as he's backing now down again to the stairs. But this is being held by two defenders. The drop comes through and it's not punished by Verge. Not well enough, at least. A little bit of damage there landing on to Curse. And Verge having to escape his own team damage from the Goyo shield. Nerf also finding one for himself. So a very successful blue hold there by the defenders. And now it all rests on this Moto push from One Tep Heck and Rubinshu on the Thermite. He does have an exothermic charge in hand, so he can open up the curtain wall. But in this situation, you might not really want to do that because it's going to expose you even more. Moto is now smoked off by the gas canisters. One Tap Heck just looking to one tap anyone through that doorway, but he can't find it. 6 seconds left, and now this is completely dire. Nice headshot there for Rubinshu. Pads the stats a little bit, but there's no chance. And Revenge GG yet again holding on to another defensive round. And they have secured themselves a point in the standings with that round.
yeah, definitely able to get the tie at least, as they were able to make this round happen, even though there was a bit of an iffy thing with that soft moto hedge, but as a
Kez is claiming that that was a bait.
yeah, I saw that. They're at least saying that it's a part of the strat, so
I
able
mean, why not?
to
Just
make
make
that
it a kill
work.
box.
Yeah,
That was
really. So
yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, they didn't clear out pulse spot at all. And there was a
mhm.
defender playing that right up until the end. So you don't clear that area. You don't manage to get kitchen hatch open or soften up the floor in kitchen itself, which they managed to deny by finding a sledge very early on. It made it a very safe position to play, and then suddenly, yeah, that Moto position does become a bit of a kill box once you drop into it. And yeah, if that's the way that Revenge want to spin it, then you're welcome. I've helped you out with that. So there we have it. It's all
yeah.
strats at the end of the day.
Up to a gym bedroom here, and this is a bit less extended in a way than how UX was holding it. They're fully reinforcing cash room instead of fully reinforcing CC and just playing through the soft walls of cash. But as we saw on the two defenses, it's not like Revenge even cared about it. They just funneled in through the jacuzzi wall after fully focusing on getting that open. And yeah, we're not going to see the Wamai at least, as wow, very
Okay.
fast play by UX here. Lucania and Chris here up the main stairs already. They're going to probably find the bandit. Yep, unaware that is temp going down, but there's no ingress for them. Chris able to pick up Kez, but Verch right back, and Verch with a second as well, untagged, able, all things told, confirm it down to a 3-on-3. The Montaigne is pushed up and is starting to get annoying with Pangoro behind him. But Verch is taken down. Rubinshu has to fall away as Nerf was taking some pot shots at him from the CC wall. And now there's no real safety to pick up Verch here, as Sejanex is trying to figure out a time and a place to get him. And with a minute into the round, we're already down to a 3-on-3 with Verch on 25 health or so. Rabinshu on half, and well, he's got his head taken off, so he's down to 0 now.
Yeah, that rush definitely taking a bit of a stall here, but at least they have the man advantage now going into the final minute and a half, which is a very tall order for Revenge to be able to hold their positions for long enough. Revenge are going to be exothermic when, oh no, he thinks better of it. He's going into bathroom now instead, and that gives them a good point of entry to take over that bedroom site. Pangoro finding his second on the round against Nerf there, and now it's all up to Station X. He's got two gas canisters in hand, as well as this SMG-11. Finds the head of Pangoro, and that's a pretty crucial kill, as the last two alive are a Monty and a Thermite. So, if they can get this plant down, then the Monty will help see out the round very easily, but for the time being, Segenex has a bit of an advantage in that he's only got one other gun to worry about, but Rabinchu does in fact get that diffuser down on the bed itself. Monty backing away now and actually playing a little bit too aggressive as now he's holding the pinch, and Segenex is finding the kill on Rabinchu. This is potentially winnable if the Monty doesn't play this perfectly. He hasn't backed into a corner, and that's exactly what you need to do in this situation. He's found the corner, and now it's very difficult for Segenex to do anything. He's opened the hatch somehow. But now he's been locked out of sight, and that's it.
Oh
Montep Heck has
no!
got this. No way does Segenex get round in time, get the kill, and find the defuse plant, or the defuse destruct. So this is all Montep Heck just laughing his way to victory at this point. And finally, Segenex gets the triple on the round, but it's completely meaningless as the knife comes in, and that's UX Gaming successfully rushing the site and then gradually planting.
Yeah, I really thought that it was pretty doomed on the retake or on the post plant hold there, as the thermite went down, but the Montaigne of One Tap Heck able to at least hold out the round long enough. But now we'll see a CC and cash defense here. I think Nerf's going to switch to the Wamai here. Yep, there it is. So we're going to see this very strong defense. It ended basically flawless, even though Rabinshu held out at the end and stayed alive on his little timeout. It was 5 alive there for Revenge, and I don't really know what UX can do differently here to try and make that happen, because it seemed like everything was going right in their favor. I think past obviously One Tap Heck not dying early on like that, you got the wall open within a minute, I think, actually. So within the first minute of the round, that wall was opened up, and that's really what you want. That's a good shield, too, by Nerf, actually, to help deny this constant Monty play that we keep seeing from One Tap. So,
Yeah, that's
good
gonna
adjustment
force,
there.
that's going to force some utility investment from the attack. And if Revenge is smart, you toss a Wamai disc in that direction as well, and suddenly you've denied a frag a or an impact or something from the attack, because they're bound to come out to try and get rid of that shield, because that's exactly where you want to be pushing the Monty up. And you don't want to force him into a vault animation if you can help it. As an attacker, you want to be enabling him to just walk into sight, not vaulting any windows or any shields on the way. Chris is going to be lit up a little bit as there's some contention from Lounge, but it's nothing lethal, as they're getting ready to set up for this clear of the bandit battery on the east wall. It's calling that he wants the hatch open, I think, which is an interesting one. Perhaps to cut off rotation from Roma, but it looks as though Virch is actually miles away at this point in bar, looking to catch players out as they walk into lounge. He finds the drone, so now they know that he's roughly there if they're being quick about it. But obviously, with 5 men up on the board, you don't always have people hanging on drones constantly. Luciana's going to be, or Luciana, I should say, going to be holding that flank at the bottom. There's a bit of delay here, really, is that they need to be getting their jobs done. Finally, the Sophia gets into the right position, dealing with the bandit trick, and that's the wall again successfully open for UX Gaming.
Yeah, pretty early on that was opened up, and I think Lucania is still holding firm down in that basement pair on permanent flank watch. trying to actually, he's made his way up main stairs. He's getting droned in as well by Pangoro, trying to find Vert here. What remains of him as he now knows he's on drone. Lucania is going to sit firmly and try and uproot him. He's almost going to hit the wall spray there, but doesn't land it and instead thinks better of it and runs up to assist the bedroom push, which we didn't really see from UX here. So they're going to leave Chris here on the platform and send the rest of the attack over. But it's Verch on the flank, not watched through, I think, even the hatch, able to take down Rabinshu. Pangoro at least trades it right back, but that is a huge pick. No more exothermic charge. And even though they've got Nerf locked into the garage here, it's still a 4-on-3 as at least a flurry of kills come out. Chris able to pick up one as Kez picked up another. Lucania and Chris able to trade back as well. But it's Nerf and Seji all alone or together against Lucania on his lonesome with 15 seconds remaining. He's going to try and find Sejinex here, but able to almost take down the smoke. But no, the shotgun to the face confirms the round. Sejinex with a nice two-piece, I think, on the round. Or maybe just one. Able to confirm it, though, for Revenge as they take it now 7-4 here.
So, big win there for Revenge. It did look like UX could be catching them up and denying them that win, but ultimately they were on top most of the way through that, and a pretty solid attacking half put them in good stead for that win. Look at Kez rocking 13 kills there, Virtue on 11, Nerf on 10. So some big numbers being put up all across the Revenge side. And yeah, that was a pretty, I wouldn't call it a one-sided match, but it started out that way for certain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked like obviously we saw some struggles on the defense. So it looked a little rough going there, but Revenge at least was able to make that attack work super well. So I don't think we're headed to a break. We're just gonna have to remake the lobby really fast as we're gonna switch over servers, I believe, and then we're a little bit behind on our schedule, so we're gonna have to jump over to
Border.
yeah, we're just gonna jump right into border actually. So
Yep.
um I don't know. I think that Clubhouse went fairly uh reasonably. It went usually how we see Clubhouse nowadays. It's not, I know back when it was during the Sixth Invitational, it was very one-sided. Um and it's it was very one-sided towards the defense, but now we're seeing it more evened out towards the attack, and even, I mean, Revenge took a 4-2 attack half, so it's pretty nice to see that at least.
Yeah, yeah, it's good actually. And certainly Revenge putting themselves in that lead in the first half helped. That final attack was really something. I think it was just about it looked like it should have gone the way of UX with that construction push. It was a very smart rotate to decide to do that because they still hadn't cleared the Wamai from the catwalk, which can be a real problem in sort of stock, not stock, a standard CC push. But of course, he can influence the construction push as well. So that's why it's a very important position to hold on to. We had almost a chance at it being an attack sided round there, or attack win there. But of course, that pick on the on the thermite at the crucial moment, it was probably while he was approaching that construction wall, because that's the angle that you can get onto the player from the hatch. So that would have completely upset that attack. And at that point, it was basically one tap pick going, okay, I'm just going in with the Monty and seeing what can happen. See it like cause a bit of chaos and hopefully get a few kills. But didn't work out that way. And the Wamai on the catwalk, I think we're going to see more of that as games go on, because that AUG is probably one of the better defense guns at range. And the kill that he got onto the balcony was it wasn't a headshot, it was a body shot. He managed to take that player out clean, didn't down them. It was an instant kill. Um, and there's not many guns on defense that will allow you to do that. Basically, you're looking at the Alder, you're looking at Wilmai's Org, you're looking at the carbine of Jaeger, but you usually want him in other places, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, I think we'll probably see more of him there in the future, especially to counter that Monty with the shield. It was a very well thought through position for him to be playing.
Yeah, definitely. With the addition of that shield, it really helps him out massively in locking down any shield strats, as well as just in general helping out hold that position. And just with the way the garage is and the charging of the discs, it's pretty nice to have him there, as you usually have to use a lot of utility to burn out that what typically is an ACOG player um, from those rafters. If you can throw those discs around at the various lights or cabinets or cubbies, anywhere in there, and just hide them, it makes it very obnoxious to attack that base or that those rafters. And just because it's so much safer up there, even too, to hold the Wamai there and not really have to worry about dying to, like, if he were to charge them in sight and swing out towards the breach, he could very easily die like so quickly once that breach is opened. And there's only so many places that you can throw your discs on sight to where they're very useful. So it's not really. I think I agree with you very much that we're going to see a lot more play from those rafters with the Wamai, even if he doesn't have that ACOG on the AUG.
Yeah, I think that's it was a showing of how, despite Clubhouse being in the pool for so long, it can still be developed as a map in these tiny little details, I think. So our next match is going to be Border, which I'm quite excited about, because personally I haven't seen a Border game in ages, and I don't know why. I haven't casted it in ages. It is apparently quite a popular map to be played, and I just haven't experienced this. So, but it's definitely one of the mainstays in the game, and it's been in the game for so long in its current state. It's been very kind of worked out meticulously. But I would like to see potentially how some of these newer operators like the one I factor into the defense. I feel like it might have been shunned slightly in more recent weeks because of how difficult it can be to shed through the various layers of utility soak-based defense, especially on an armory hold. If you just layer up those go-yo shields by the balcony, the armory breach, then it could be very tough for attackers to even get the right angles onto the shields to destroy them without exposing themselves to numerous angles that the defense can be holding.
Hmm. Yeah. So, like you said, I think out of all the original maps that are still in, not from DLC stuff. Well, the early on year one maps, I mean, as well. So that gets rid of Coast Theme Park and Villa. I think we saw the new site. Yeah. So out of the four maps, that's Cafe, Clubhouse, Consulate, and Border still in the map pool. Consulate got that new site a few seasons ago now, almost a year ago, I think, onto Teller's Archives, I think is what it's called, or maybe something like
Yeah,
that.
I
It's the
think Tyler's
first.
Archive.
It's the split bomb site,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. It got that one about 2-ish years ago now. We saw Clubhouse finally get that construction edition, which made the map so much more bearable. And Cafe just got its full rework about 2 seasons ago now, or a season or two ago. So Border still has not seen any big changes, and because of that, it's really, aside from just like a couple strats with new operators, for the most part, it just gets played out the exact same time and time again. It's just
We are
it's
supposed to be
so
making this
overworked.
exciting.
I know.
But
It's
yeah,
I
it's true though. You can definitely innovate on it. We have been seeing a lot more bathroom holds, for instance, which is actually quite exciting. It's something I've been taking into my very low ranked games because you get a few people to organize that, and suddenly it's a very easy top down hold in comparison to even sometimes in comparison to events top down hold because teams are so well versed at attacking the armory site itself that taking armory in order to take vents can be more well rehearsed on the attacking side, whereas taking offices in order to take bathroom below it is something that attacks have generally not been as well practiced at in just sort of general terms, I suppose. But as I say that, we're about to be heading into the game, and it is Border, as we have talked about, Revenge GG versus UX Gaming for our final map of the first play week of ACS. So, where will these two teams end up in the standings? Revenge GG just gaining their first win, and with UX Gaming finding 4 rounds in that match, it does mean that Revenge cannot get the top spot with a win here. That is now firmly in the hands of Lucendi. So congratulations to them. Any Lucendi fans or players that are watching, you're top of the leaderboard for the first week. But Revenge GG could be snapping at your heels alongside Budapest if they win this. Obviously, UX Gaming could turn it around, bring us to a win for themselves, and get this draw. So, how will it pan out? That is the question. Thatcher and Capital going to be the attack bans, and Revenge GG taking Mirror out of the picture as well.
yeah, Border is once again another pretty good Capital map, and I just realized we went through 11 rounds on Clubhouse without any echo play. As now the Pulse gets banned, which is starting to become a little bit more prevalent in these in tier 3 from what I've seen. A lot more teams are opting to ban it out, but it's interesting that the echo is still up as now Nerf is going to at least show it for this first round. One Tep is on the IQ, and we're not going to see it. We might see a Goyo or a Wamai, I would think. Yeah, Goyo is showing a lot of prevalence as well on this site. You can it's basically become adapted now that the triple wall hold is pretty common. So the Goyo really helps extend out into the office's side of things as well as this main hall just to give a couple of temporary barriers at least before you have to very quickly vacate the premises as it explodes into flames, but he's pretty common here. So I want to see what Temp is also going to do with this dock. I don't know if we're going to see a little bunker hold in CC or if we're going to see that other old strat where you kind of we used to see it a lot from Empire at the Six Invitational, I think in 2019 specifically, or rather Raleigh Major in 2019. That's where I remember it most from. You would open up that break room wall and kind of just throw him right where Tempt is sitting, and he just goes crazy and locks down that side of CCTV. So we're not really. Well, no, we are going to see that actually. So
Yeah, he's
pretty
playing exactly
cool
that
hold there.
position. It's nice to
Yeah.
see. I was going to question his choice of operator actually, because with no Thatcher on the board and an armory hold as your first defense, you've got to be considering Kaid as an option, especially to hold that wall in armory for as long as possible. Because bringing an operator like Doc, it's basically leaning more into the gunplay. You know, you have that deployable camera, sure, but that's pretty much it in terms of the utility that you lend your team, and then maybe the odd situational stim pistol. But really, it's a selfish utility, but it makes sense considering he's fully investing in this rather selfish position that can cut off the whole of break room, like you said, and it's forced UX Gaming to go for this office clear because CCTV is pretty crucial if you want that armory take, and instead they now need to contend with the Doc in this office sandwich position.
Yeah, his Goyo shield is at least going to be destroyed here, blown up in his face, but thankfully he doesn't take any damage from that. Able to survive it out, as now he's facing drones coming in around him from UX here from the triple wall, but he gets to hold pretty firmly here, and it's Sejanex to pick up the first alongside Verch here on map 2, holding down the fort for revenge, as now Skez is on 75. It's Temp to go down to Akanya. The Ash able to pick up that one, as Nerf has also been downed, but it's now effectively a 3-on-3, but one player able to play through Break Room. That's Verch, still full health. Just as I say that, he takes a couple bullets worth, but he is holding firm here and being just as annoying as he can. He took Lucania down to about 10 or so health, as he's actually just on 5 bullets total in his primary. He's been pre-firing so much, and with 3 of them, he's able to confirm onto Nerf as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be mostly pistol play coming out from the Ash now. He's going to be a 5-speed pistol main, and looks as though Verch has managed to sneak up and go undetected. Now he's getting very aggressive into Office itself and finds the head of the Buck, and that's Pangoro down. So 3 versus 2 now, with only 15 seconds left. Verch finds another for a triple on the round. Can he find the quad? No, he cannot. He gets put down by the IQ, but immediate revenge from Revenge, and it is Kez sealing that round out with the Alder at range. So much suppressing fire being put through that wall and eventually finding the IQ.
Yeah, I think it gets commonly talked about a lot, but I think the only thing that ACOG nerf did for Maestro there was really just prevent him from doing that at an even longer range. So he definitely ACOG was the problem with that gun so far, but
Of course, yeah.
yeah, so it's not, you know, the 81 bullets or the massive rate of fire or the fact that he can solo hold down an entire push for about 10 seconds. Nah.
Or the really high damage fall off, or the
Yeah.
damage at range, or like just raw damage in, at close range.
It was definitely the
it's
ACOG, don't worry.
He's
Yeah.
fixed, guys.
Yeah, he's balanced now, he's fine. We're gonna head to Vent's workshop now, and the customary upstairs defense to accompany it. Temp is back on Goyo duty again here. Or rather, it's now Temp, not a Nerf on Goyo duty here. Nerf has picked up the castle, so he gets that operator now to hold down a good bit, as these shields are going to be placed to help create some mock doorways, some mock walls upstairs still, and just make this upstairs defense a bit more bearable at the least. You're not going to reinforce triple wall, which has seen a little bit of play. Some teams I know in lower levels will often try and just treat the upstairs, or rather this site, like it is armory lockers all over again. And they'll full reinforce triple. They'll try and do most of what they can upstairs and a couple walls alongside downstairs just to assist in their retake. And they open up a bunch of holes through the floor to try and just play top down. So it's not that old at least, and that offers UX a very quick and easy entry here into the offices to at least start to pressure out the Goyo and the Valkyrie upstairs.
It looks as though office takes are their forte, really. They've gone with it twice in a row now. We'll see if it is the same in the future, but it's definitely the route that they seem most prepared to take, and their spawns and utility investment indicate that as well. Vert's going to be under a bit of pressure here inside of Archives itself, and the soft wall to his left just not really the ideal utility investment from the defense, as Lucania just sprays through and finds that. Temp going to reply though with one on Christ, and that's just Zofia gone. A flurry of kills back and forth yet again. Kez and Pangoro finding one apiece. Now it's a 3 versus 3. Sight drop coming through from the Valkyrie, and it seems that that's the call from the Goyo as well, as he dropped out Sandwich instead and in. But Robinshu can't find him from above. That's a missed opportunity there from the Thermite. And now, still a 3 versus 3, but as I say that, Kez gets his revenge onto Lucania with a nice C4 kill next to the hatch. That was good. Good sort of instinctive use of the C4 there, and now they've given themselves a pretty good standing for the final minute.
Yeah, 1 minute to go, and even though Rubinshu and One Tap here are on full health, they only have 2 drones between them and 3 defenders to find with them. So One Tap is going to lose his here, and now it's just down to one of Rubinshu. That's always a fun little thing that I like to see, the drone stats now that the new UI has come in this last season.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's always nice to see that at least, but yeah, just the one drone, and it's right next to a mute jammer as well from Sejinex. Kez is going to take a couple shots through that soft wall, but unaware is One Tap as he now has to push forward through 2 bulletproof cams, staring both at Rubinshu and One Tap here. And 15 seconds to go. I think there's still a C4 on Seji, but it doesn't matter as Temp is able to take off the head of one, the IQ, and the other goes down to him as well for 3, I think, on the round here. As a good job there from Nagoyo, able to shut out a round.
So Revenge picking up where they left off with pretty dominant defensive displays. That first one off the back of Virtue's nice flank, basically, but this one a much more solid hold. And very well played to get the refrags that they needed from both sides on that top floor. It was pretty exciting stuff on that top floor, but uh, then Revenge making the right call to fall back to site at that point. It's so often that you see that full investment on the top floor with defenders sort of hold up and they don't fall back. They take too many gunfights and it ends up costing them in the long run. But getting underneath where you can leverage that vertical play yourself using C4s and holding on to the few entryways that you've managed to allow for the attackers is such an important thing to do. Like, if you've forced that much utility investment on the top floor clear, then dropping to site just means, oh look, this wall is intact. Like, if we'd just been turtling up, then this wall would probably be open. You know, say for instance, triple wall in bathroom, or perhaps even like some more vertical angles. And it's just, it's easier once you've actually fallen back to leverage that and make use of the fact that so much investment from the attacker has gone upstairs instead.
Yeah, so that's always pretty good. There's not been a ton of utility dump coming out from Revenge. As I say that, though, I mean, it gets pretty annoying on this round. But yeah, I mean, it's been rough going for UX as it definitely has stalled them out. And once now, like you were saying before, Bathroom Tellers has seen a resurgence lately, taking over customs as the third site now for a lot of teams. As wow, everyone from Revenge is upstairs. There is nobody on the site at all holding anywhere. They are just all holding offices through Armory and Archives. So it's
That's
a
how
very
you
wide
do it.
hold.
It's a risky one because you might risk a bit of oversight potentially on some of the sites. You don't have that knowledge of the bottom floor as you would usually, and it looks like UX are going to be taking that to their advantage, or perhaps they're walking right into the trap as Nerf and Virch find Lucania and Robinshu respectively, and that's already a 2-man advantage on this defense. And now One Step Heck needs to do a lot of work. Sorry, One Step Heck along with Pangoro and Chris need to do a lot of work, and Pangoro finds one at least to soften that blow from the early round.
Yeah, playing through those holes, I think, down through the or down through the top floor to the bottom floor. Both the Ash and Thermite, the SWAT duo, were taken out very early on here. Yeah, a lot of hatch play, a lot of open holes everywhere just to try and contest any horizontal pushes from UX. And this defense has gotten pretty annoying as they're already stagnating the attack. And oof, I just saw Chris look up and he's looking at 3 different holes. Pangoro, though, able to pick up one on the nerf as One Tap cleans up Kez as well, but Seji able to pick one up to even out the board. And Pangoro is below half and One Tap is on about 60, whereas Temp and Sejinex here are on full. Seji
That
takes a little
feels
bit of
low.
damage from a nade, and yeah, defuse is actually down. Is that in bathroom or is that in the
Yeah.
hallway?
Seginex is sitting on top of it. It's in the little sort of shower stall in bathroom. The smoke's just got
Oh,
that on lock, and One Tep's trying to hunt for him through this hole, and he does find it, but Temp is right on call to refrag onto One Tep, and now it's a 1 versus 1. Pangoro knows that the last player is above him, and it's that shotgun of Temp finding the head of Pangoro. Doesn't even need to sweat it here. The complete vertical dominance coming through from Revenge on that defense, and that is exactly how you need to attack, or sorry, how you need to defend the Bathroom Tethers site.
yeah. So just made it work there for Revenge as they complete the site triangle, locking out 3 in a row. The Bathroom Teller's defense, and yeah, it is pretty solidly in their favor. So Nerf is going to see the other operator that I predicted that first round, the Wamai, and I don't know how it'll help more in the offices. I just know over on the armory side of things, it usually helps defend that bunker position. I assume he'll be helped or he'll be employed to help Temp there, holding his long angle and trying to not get naded or flashed out really. But it's gonna be interesting here to see how Revenge, or rather how UX wants to come around and handle this defense now, as they got it was pretty close, I think, for the most part early on. As I wouldn't say they got handled, they were able to bring things back in their favor until a late flank confirmed it by Verch with, I think, a 3K on that round. But yeah, we're gonna have to. I really want to see how they help handle this, because again, there's no wall denier like you mentioned that first round. As that's unlucky. That is so unlucky. Getting up, Seji is taken down by a spray by Lucania.
Yeah, that's a very common pre-fire spray, and it, 1 in 100 times there's a dead defender at the other
And
end of it,
it's
and
it's not even like Seji wasn't aware of that. He was prone, and it just happened that when he stood up,
yeah,
he took a bullet to the head.
that's very unfortunate. But yeah, sometimes it do be that way, I guess. Pressure coming out now underneath from Pangoro as they look to clear this sandwich position, something that is often overlooked as a possibility to deal with that, and only sort of emphasizes the point that I made earlier, which is that UX know how to clear offices, it would seem. It didn't work in their favor last time around, though, obviously. Vert's going to be finding Rabinshu, and that's just hard breach gone. So any hope at breaching that west side into Armory is now removed, and that's a pretty big blow. So now it pretty much means that UX have to commit to this office take. They have no other option to rotate outside it. Temp can be finding the head of Lucania as well. The long angle onto the window. And 3 versus 4 now for the attack. Not great.
Yeah, they definitely have fallen away now. Even though the Thermite did get the wall, he's done his job. You're not really going to contest that armory wall very much, it seems like, from UX. They love to push this defense from the offices and try to make some bullet holes. The dock isn't going to be found just yet, as Nerf, though, able to confirm onto Pangoro. Tempt and the Wamai pushing forward as Verch confirms another. That's Chris, and the IQ go down. So even though Seji got picked off very early on, every single kill thereafter went the side of Revenge. And this defense, even though Border has been touted as a more attacker side as of late, Revenge is just rolling so far on this defense. 2 zeros as well on UX's side so far.
Yeah. I would say that Pulse is a really bit of a soft defensive ban. He's not that essential on these sites, and you could be banning out a Goyo or a Maestro. So certainly maybe slightly defense leaning bans, but that doesn't really account for the fact that we're 4-0 now. Revenge seemingly yet again walking away with this on the defensive half. They've been so resolute defending, no matter where you take them to, be it club or border and any site really. So yeah, I'm not hopeful for UX Gaming right now, but they did manage to string together a sort of a comeback on Clubhouse. Maybe they can put one together again here.
Yeah, hopefully that something can be strung together. At least one Tep has some frags this time around. He's not bottoming out, though that was a ping-related issue that he ended up sadly with a donut on map 1. Not always rough to see, but once again, a very upwards focused hold here by Revenge, as they're going to just leave Sejanex here on his lonesome. And another, I think this is the third different player for Revenge who has picked up Goyo here. Now Kez on it instead of both Nerf or Temp. And yeah, there's been a lot of Goyo flexibility here, lots of Goyo play by Revenge. I think he's only set out one round, if that. And that just goes to show the power of this operator on this map specifically, because there's a lot of closed-in rooms and close areas. As
Oh, what?
What?
That was
Pandora, I think, spraying
No
through
way.
a wall.
That was a long-range headshot, not even intended for him. I don't think.
Yeah, that's why I was so in
opposite.
shock for a second and just stopped talking. I was like, I had no this guy got kicked from. But
Yeah.
wow.
Well, Lucania's in sight now, and no, sorry, this isn't sight. This is above the site. I forgot that we were defending the bottom floor, but they managed to clear out the top floor, which is pretty important, and it can feel like the site sometimes with all that utility effect. Vert's going to find a double on the round, almost a C4 kill there from, I believe it must have been Sejanex, but not quite connecting with the buck, as Chris now is rounding the corner, trying to cook this frag onto the player at the top of the stairs. Looks like it down Vert, a very well-cooked, well-timed explosive grenade there, as opposed to non-explosive grenades, I suppose. And Luciana is going to be pushing around, taking control of the 90. Looks like this whole top floor pretty much in the hands of the attackers. Chris taking a big chunk of damage there from the Goyo shield that gets detonated by Kez, using that C4, or potentially shooting out. I think it was a C4.
Yeah, I think it was, but Chris is on very low health here, as all the defenders are on full, and I think they have just the one drone as well of Rubinshu, so any info they'll want to find will have to be just what they can muster. But Kez shuts that down at least. No more buck, no soft destruction upstairs, with a nice headshot from that TCSG. The Ash is going to push in and find the head, but a 4 from Seji at least refrags Nerf here. No bullets land from Rubinshu, as a 5th round now is confirmed by Revenge. And that's
I love that
obviously 5 in a row.
I love that we got to see a top-down frame or two of the actual crossfire happening onto Thermite there. Just like, it zoomed out for a little bit and we see this, like, 2 bullet trails completely just, like, dissecting him. And also the lovely ragdoll from Ash. There was some wonderful camera moments in that round, I thought. Yeah, so 5-0, and Revenge are doing pretty well, safe to say. I'm wondering what we can see from UX Gaming here to try and turn it around. What do they need to do to actually make something of this match? Like, they're going to be heading into another Bathroom Tellers defense, and they should know this. So at least they can be well equipped to deal with it. But they're bringing that all-purpose lineup that they've brought time and time again, and so certainly it's not the lineup that they're going to be mixing up here. Perhaps this time round they might actually pay a little bit of respect to Revenge's setup and actually try to clear the top floor as a team without allowing too many early picks, just off of kind of I guess you could call it negligence. I'm hunting for the word here, but just expecting to be able to waltz into sight unnoticed. It can work in some cases, but border top down, it's so difficult to do that. And I think, yeah, clearing it from CC, clearing it from Armory might be the play here.
Oh yeah. So it has been. I mean, there's no real way. Oh no!
What?
One
Nice
tap
shot.
got shot by Lucania trying to spray out a window, and that is very rough going when you're trying to get at least one more round, trying to stop the 7-0, trying to stop Revenge's spree here, and at least they're going to contest this upstairs. It was, as I was going to say, willful negligence, but I'll have to hold that off as Kez and Pangoro confirm too. At least Kez gets some revenge there for one tap taking down Lucania with a nice C4. But both Pangoro and Nerf are on blinking health. And thanks to the team kill, what should have been a 4v4 is now a 4v3. And it is rough going here for UX, even though they're starting to get a lot of upstairs control here, at least taking over the armory.
Yeah, their time management, even with the team kill, I was going to say, was quite good. They got that team kill, but immediately had CCTV control. And it wasn't because of the team kill, of course, but they have left themselves with a minute and a half and 4 defenders to find. But they're making inroads into this office area, and it's definitely still winnable for them. Pangoro looking a bit worse for wear, though, obviously. That frag grenade not going to find anyone, as Sejinex is just stationed a bit further back from the expected location. Temp is holding above B, just watching into archives where 2 of our attackers are making their way. This soft wall could cost them, though, and a great spray there, landing the headshot through the wall. And again, Nerf now picking up one for himself. Chris going down. Pangoro, the last alive, and he actually manages to withstand, as that was a soft destruction from below that put him onto that down bottom out state. So a rare withstand in a competitive match being seen here. He's got 42 seconds left, though, and obviously left on about 5 HP. In fact, exactly 5 HP. And yeah, this is going to be a tough clutch attempt here for Pangoro.
Almost found through the customs wall, but not enough, thanks to Sejinex there. He's really trying to hunt for this last 5 health on Pangoro here. He's not going to find it just yet, as Pangoro is prone. He's going to down what remained of Nerf at least, and then fall back out.
There's only 10 seconds
not
left.
sure where that went, and yep, 10 seconds, doesn't matter. It was actually Kez there on the mute. Shotgun blast to confirm a 6th round in a row on defense, on border, and
we
Kez,
only
Kez
cast like
himself a
one-sided
nice
matches, right? We
yeah.
had like a pair of very one-sided matches
It
on
was
Friday.
7-1s on Friday, right?
Yeah,
That
but
we
it was
saw?
7-1s in opposite directions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and now today
So
we've had some fairly one-sided games earlier, and now yet again it's interesting because this league, I look at it and I'm like, oh, these are some pretty evenly balanced teams, but I think we've kind of got some of the top versus some of the bottom tier perhaps in this mix in the first week, which is quite promising in the sense that it means that the next weeks will hopefully be a lot tighter and more exciting stuff. But I say that as though this game is over. I mean, Revenge might be feeling like it pretty much is. UX might be feeling like it pretty much is as well. But we still got 1 round to go for Revenge to seal the win. UX could potentially deliver their own 6-0 defensive sweep. It could happen. Weirder things have happened.
yeah, so there's gonna be, I mean, a bathroom teller's defense first, so hopefully, assuming that where UX went wrong on the attack, they'll hope that Revenge does the same here. But this could very well be their downfall, even, as now it's not a bad. I think part of what makes the site so good on defense as of late isn't that in itself it's a great site or anything, but rather that teams are still trying to figure out specifically how to attack it. So it makes things a bit rougher to attack, and as a result, it makes things just generally more defender-sided. So we'll have to see how Revenge wants to go about it. They're already getting fast CC control and very fast into armory, hopefully, thereafter. but there's a whole lot of drone work coming out here by Revenge. I think at one point I saw 4 people on drones there, even though they were already in CC. So very aggressive there as they're trying to work these defenders out as quick as possible.
Yep, so a minute gone and CCTV control established, and that's basically what we saw from UX on their bathroom attack last time, not too long ago, just last round. But it's decidedly more advantageous when you haven't team killed in the very opening minute.
Yeah,
So
that's always helpful.
this could be good for UX. The castle barricade's also going to aid them on this hold, but now he decides to play at the castle barricade, and that's a very smart move as he manages to get that pick onto Lucania, but onto Kez rather, Virch refragging Lucania, and it's a 4 versus 4, but they've lost it. They've lost the IQ. It could be worse. He's definitely a strong operator, has those flashbangs, but not too convinced at the usefulness of the scanner in this particular instance. So of all of your ops going, I'd say that's probably your least valuable right now. And the same with Lucania on the castle.
Yeah. So while I'd still say it's more in favor of UX there, as Lucania really is just a gun only, whereas Kez, even though there's limited use with that scanner, there is still some use, at least, especially if they were to get this upstairs and under control. But they're just leaving Virch here all alone, and he's going to down 1, but Chris able to refrag him, not seen behind. That is the Jaeger going down, but this the Ash as well. Temp is going to push forward through the TCSG, able to confirm that one, and they know Chris is watching from above, but they're just going to pass each other, not able to kill either one, Chris nor Temp. But the bomb is going down. The plant is unseen and unstopped by Chris, even though he just saw it. Seji remains untagged as well, as he's going to confirm onto the Kaid, untagged still, playing ring around the rosy with that bomb. Chris able to confirm his second kill of the round, but it's him and one tap on one tap, as Nerf is down to half health at the least, but Seji is still full, holding in that bathroom, and Seji confirms his second, and it should be locked out here 7-0 for Revenge, unless that Chris can pull out a great clutch. He's going to land a C4 on top of Seji at least, but down to a single bullet here. He's going to have to start the defuse immediately. He has no time, and that is 7-0. Very one-sided in favor of Revenge. GG. Able to confirm over UX here for a 7-4-7-0 match for our last match of play week 1.
Yeah, beautifully done there by Revenge, and our first and only 7-0 of the play week. So congratulations to them on that achievement. And that is gonna be it as well for us. So that was a brilliant display of dominance there from Revenge across both maps, but especially on border, completely going to town on UX Gaming there. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, really.
Yeah, it was very one-sided on the defense, which we don't normally see. I've seen as of late a lot of teams will roll over the attacks so far and win halves like 4-2, 5-1, and then the other attack will just swing it right back. But yeah, it's crazy that they were able to confirm that half 6-0, even though they split opening picks with UX there. So it seemed like Revenge was doing much better on the opening picks all day today, only losing 2 of the rounds that they picked up opening picks during. And yeah, just all in all, probably this was the most dominant set aside from the Lucendi match. Well, probably tied with the Lucendi match from earlier that we saw so far this week.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Lucendi, off the back of that win, or those two